Hi and welcome to a new video. Today's topic is gonna be about calorie counting, and I always say in my videos that if you want to lose weight you have to count your calories, or if you don't want to count your calories you have to focus on portion control and how much protein, how much carbs and how much fats you're eating. Protein and carbs have 4 calories per gram and fat has 9 calories per gram. Alcohol has 7. And alcohol is not a macronutrient, but it's just good to know that alcohol also contains calories. And why it's so important that we focus on our calorie intake is that if we want to lose weight, we have to consume less calories than what we burn. This is what we call calories in, calories out. And why I like calorie counting is that it's precise. You can very relatively closely monitor how much calories you're eating and also how much you're burning. And what I always recommend to my clients if they want to lose weight is to find out their total daily energy expenditures. And I talked about this already, but total daily energy expenditure just means how much calories you're burning throughout the day, including your basal metabolic rate, so the calories you're burning at rest, the thermic effect of food, which is basically the digestive processes and how that translates into energy, and also our daily activities, which are non-exercise activity thermogenesis called NEAT, and exercise activity thermogenesis. And the difference between the last two is that NEAT is basically the calories that you're burning unintentionally through movement. So for example, if you're fidgeting, or if you're just walking around the house, doing chores, taking down the trash, or cooking, for example, cleaning. And exercise activity thermogenesis is more like going on intentionally on a walk, or doing some cardio in the gym, lifting weights, going to play tennis, whatever. So those two are very different because the majority of our calories during the day will be from our basal metabolic rate that accounts for around 60% of our caloric needs. So basically, if we're just laying in the bed the whole day, still our daily caloric needs will be 60% that. And then we have thermic effect of food, which is around 10% of our caloric needs. And then we have left 30%, and 20% is NEAT, so non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Is only 10% is activity thermogenesis. And that means that basically in our day, what we do in the gym accounts for around 10% of our daily caloric needs. And that's why I always say that if you want to lose weight, don't focus on going to the gym, don't focus on getting a personal trainer. Focus on counting your calories, weighing out your food, focusing on portion control. And that will bring you greater results regarding weight loss than any personal trainer with the best programs, workout programs in the world could do. And if you already have your priorities set, so focusing on your weight loss, focusing on counting calories, cooking at home, focusing on portion control, then you can progress into getting better at working out, getting a consistent gym routine, etc. So back to the weight loss question. How to determine our daily caloric needs? First of all, you need to know your total daily energy expenditure, so overall what you're burning in a day. That will only be an estimate because it's very different from people to people. As I said, there are a lot of processes in the body that influences it, hormones, organs, etc. A lot of things, but in general what matters most is your height, weight and gender. And that's because men tend to have a higher muscle mass, they tend to be taller, way more, so they will need more calories to survive. And females tend to have less muscle mass, they are shorter and they weigh less, so their total daily energy expenditure will be less as well. On the internet there are apps and websites where you can calculate, and I will show you one right now. So in Google I'm just typing in total daily energy expenditure, and the first one that comes up, TDEE calculator. Perfect. Now you can check if you want to calculate in imperial or metric. Of course I'm going to choose metric. If you're a female or male, I'm female. My age is 32, my weight is 52, and my height is 156 centimeters. Activity levels. Normally people tend to overestimate how active they are. So if you have an office job, then basically you should put sedentary, because at least 8 hours of the day you will be pretty much sitting the whole day. If you have a teaching job, for example, then you're multiple times a day on your feet, being active, or you're working in a store, I would choose light exercise. And if you're somebody that does physical work, heavy physical work, then I would put moderate exercise. And if you're weightlifting or you're doing excessive cardio, for example long distance running, then I would put heavy exercise or athlete. But athlete is really just people that do multiple workouts a day, so I would not choose that for any just regular people. So for myself, because lately I've been more sedentary, I'm just gonna choose light exercise. And there's an option there where you can select your body fat percentage, and there I'm gonna put 20%, but you don't need to know that it's an option. It just makes it a little bit more precise. And calculate. So I'm a 32-year-old female who is 156 centimeters tall and weighs 52 kilograms with light exercise at a 20% body fat. It tells me that my maintenance calories are 1,744, which is about right. They use a formula that is designed to calculate this, so it's just very easy. Of course, there is some mistake possibility, because it's just very standardized, but how I know my body, and based on previous periods where I tried to lose weight, for me this is about right. I am maintaining my weight at around 1,700 calories, and that means that it tells me my ideal weight is between 49 and 55 kilograms. That's also about right. And that I have a BMI score of 21.4%, which is also a normal weight. Now, if I scroll down, it will tell me that if I want to maintain my weight, then what kind of split of macronutrients I should take. And that just means if I am a moderate carb, a low carb, or a higher carb preference. And for myself, I like to go moderate to low carb, because I like to eat fats. I feel that I'm more satisfied, I'm happier if I eat a little bit higher fat diet, which means for me that's around 50 to 70 grams of fat. And I know that a lot of bodybuilders tend to eat a higher carb diet, because carbs are a good source of energy and it really helps you with athletic performance. But I find that I feel less hungry on a higher fat diet, even though fats are really high in calories, and a lot of times it's not worth it to eat a lot of calorie dense, fat dense foods. But for me, I find it more satisfying. So for me, that works better. So for example, I would say that for me, the best split would be around 150 grams of carbs, 68 grams of fat, and 130 grams of protein. Now, 130 grams of protein might seem a lot for somebody my height, but it actually is okay. Normally, the protein requirements, if you want to lose weight, it should be, or if you want to build muscle, it's around 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. So if I am 50 kilograms, I should eat at least 100 grams of protein. Normally, it can be a little bit higher. For example, if I am on a weight loss journey or if I'm on a cut, then I tend to eat a little bit higher protein because it helps with satiation, helps with maintaining muscle mass, and yeah, so that's the science behind it. Obviously, for example, there was a time when I was eating mostly plant-based, then my carbs were a lot higher and my proteins and fats were lower, but I found that for me, that diet was not helping me achieve my physique goals. Obviously, this can be a little bit triggering for some people, and I know that some people would say that this is very restrictive and possibly disorderly, but I found that for my goals in fitness and how I want my body to look like, I need to eat in a certain way to achieve that. Obviously, if you're somebody in a healthy body, at a healthy weight, then you don't need to worry so much about tracking your calories. But a lot of times when people eat intuitively, then they tend to put on some body fat, and for some people it's a little bit more, some people it's less, but I know that for me, intuitive eating doesn't work. At least it doesn't work in a way that helps me reach my goals. Maybe my goals are not perfect or they're not perfectly healthy, but they are my goals, and if I want to achieve them, I have to restrict myself with food in a certain way. And I found that calorie counting is better for me in terms of my mental sanity because it allows me some flexibility. If I want to go out for a meal, if I want to enjoy a glass of alcohol, then I know how I can tweak the rest of my week or the rest of the day in terms of calories and macronutrients, so that I can fit those out of plan meals in my diet. Okay, so let's go on with how to count your calories. And if we go to MyFitnessPal, MyFitnessPal is a calorie tracking application website, and there are many other websites like this, but I find MyFitnessPal to be working the best is because there are a lot of websites that are not in every language, and I found that the database of MyFitnessPal basically covers most foods that can be found in the supermarkets worldwide, and the other applications that I use, they were more catered to, for example, Hungarian foods and Hungarian supermarket items. And MyFitnessPal is more general, so I found both, for example, Hungarian products there, but also Spanish and American products. So I'm gonna show MyFitnessPal, but most of these websites work the same, so I'm pretty sure if you get the hang of this, then you will also be able to use the other calorie counting tracking apps. So if you log into MyFitnessPal, the first thing that you will have to do is to put in your goals. Basically, when you put in your weight and your height, it will calculate your caloric needs, and also it will give you a rough estimate of how much calories you should be eating. I would be a little bit cautious of trusting MyFitnessPal's calculations because they tend to bring the calories a little bit too low. I would rather stick to the TDEE calculator that we did before to calculate how much calories we need. And I forgot to mention that with the TDEE calories, if you want to lose weight, you will have to decrease your calories by between 200 and 500 calories from your maintenance calories. So maintenance just means that you're maintaining your weight, And if you want to lose weight, then you will have to eat around 200 to 500 calories less every day. It depends on how much of a deficit you want to put yourself in. I personally don't recommend to go higher than 500 calories for a deficit, because it's very hard to maintain, and if you keep it for a long time, there is a bigger chance that you will lose muscle. And basically it will just help you keep a little bit more relaxed, and that's important, especially as a woman, because we tend to be more vulnerable to being hungry, and a little bit more susceptible to just being hangry, so annoyed. And I really see that in my own life. When I am on a cut, I tend to be a lot more agitated and feeling deprived of foods that I cannot have, and that is not nice. And if my calories would be a lot lower, I could have a much less flexibility than what I have now. So anyhow, so here with MyFitnessPal, you can edit your nutrition goals. So mine are 1,500 calories because I'm cutting right now. I have 150 grams of carbs, 50 grams of fat, and 113 grams of protein, which is perfect for me. I feel pretty full for most of the time on this amount of calories, and I'm still losing weight slowly, but I don't have a lot of surplus, so that's good for me. Calories by meal is logged because I am not paying for the premium, and fitness goals I don't care about, because when you want to lose weight, you have to focus on your calories. And since exercise, how I mentioned in the beginning of the video, is about 10% of your total daily energy needs, I wouldn't worry about it. Normally what happens to MyFitnessPal is that if you have, for example, your smartwatch paired with MyFitnessPal, then it will automatically adjust your calorie allowance. So let's say I did 20,000 steps the other day, my calorie goals got adjusted, and it told me that I still have 1,000 calories to eat, while I already consumed all of my calories for the day. And because of that, obviously, if I would just eat back those 1,000 calories, that will put me out of the calorie deficit. So in the end, it wouldn't be worth it. And I recommend you to just stick to your calorie goals and don't worry about how much exercise you're doing, because that's very unreliable and can just mess up your progress. So micronutrients I'm not paying a lot of attention to because I eat a very varied diet, but there are certain things that I like to consider when I choose the types of food that I'm eating. One of them is sodium. So sodium comes from added salt in the food. So for example, things high in sodium are deli meat. So for example, ham or cured ham, which actually I really like to eat, but I try to be mindful. For example, just straight out putting salt on your food or salting your meat before you cook it, that will add your sodium levels. Soups have a very high sodium. I like having soups, especially in the winter, but I know that they can be high in sodium. And condiments, for example, ketchup, mustard, pickles, they are all a little bit higher in sodium, and the recommended amounts of sodium are 2,300 milligrams per day, and I like to keep my sodium intake below that. Then fiber is very important because it helps with digestion, just basically absorption of micronutrients, and keeping you full, and that's 25 grams per day. It's a little bit hard to hit, especially on a high protein diet, so what I try to do is add vegetables with every single meal that I'm eating. And sugars are added sugars, that is 45 grams per day, and I like to keep my sugar intake below that, which is not that difficult since I don't really eat a lot of sugary foods or snacks or candy, but obviously it's good to know. Then we have an option for check-in, which is just basically your measurement. Normally I have my smartwatch and the smart scale, so this will get filled in automatically, but you can also take body measurements, so chest, weight and hips. Those are very useful, especially if you're also lifting in the gym, because what happens a lot is that you're recomping, so you're building muscle, and the weight will not change that much on the scale, but you will notice differences in your circumference. And then basically you can add friends on MyFitnessPal to track their progress. But what's more important is the food area where you can log your food. So you have the diary for the given day, and you have breakfast, lunch and dinner. And normally what I like to do is that before breakfast I'm drinking my coffee, and I like to sit down and think about what food I'm going to have that day. Normally I have a food plan for the week that I will most of the time do on the weekend, so Saturday, Sunday. I plan out what kinds of meals I will be having the following week. On Monday I do grocery shopping, and then I kind of just shop for the whole week. And but every single day when I'm drinking my coffee, I sketch out my meals of the day, and I put it into MyFitnessPal, and then I know where I have wiggle room or where I have to tweak it a bit to fit my goals. And basically I log everything, and then at the end of the day I have my totals, total calories, total carbs, fats and protein. And obviously you don't have to hit your goals perfectly all the time. I most of the time never hit my goals perfectly, so I either am a little bit less calories or a little bit more calories, but that's fine as long as you're in like a 10% range. And how to add foods. So basically I'm just gonna start filling it for tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning I will have scrambled eggs with mushrooms, and I basically just hit add food, and a lot of times it already puts into the recent category, and here I just have to kind of find foods that I'm eating. I'm gonna have two eggs, some olive oil for cooking the eggs, which is most of the time a quarter of a tablespoon. Normally that should be enough to not let the eggs stick. Then I have egg whites, which should be liquid egg whites. Normally take 100 grams of liquid egg whites. Liquid egg whites are great to bulk up your food and make it higher protein and less in calories. And I also have mushrooms, 1 cup of mushrooms, and I basically add checked. And here I have my breakfast for tomorrow. It's pretty low in carbs because I decided to add the carbs more closer to my workouts, which are in the afternoon, and high in protein, which is great for breakfast, and moderate in fat. Then the rest I just kind of do the same for lunch, dinner and snacks if I have something on that day. Now if I would have a little bit more complicated meal, so let's say I want to have a chili con carne with like in a burrito for example, then what you can do is add a recipe, and you just click on recipes, and then I don't normally have a lot of recipes here, but then I just add recipe manually. I'm just gonna say that it's a chili. It serves, let's say, 4 people, and then I just start to add ingredients like minced beef, and then it just kind of finds something. You should always double check if the calories seem alright. This you will just know by comparing or checking it online elsewhere, and after some time your brain will kind of know if the calories are correct or not. For example, now I'm just gonna say tomato sauce, and let's say what it gives me. Tomato sauce, 1 cup, and 100 calories. That seems about right. But sometimes you will have that it gives you weird measurements, then you should find something else. What you can also do is scan a barcode from the can, for example. That also works great. But anyhow, so after that you filled in all the ingredients of your recipe, and then you just press save or save and log it, and then you can log it in your daily calorie log. So calorie counting is pretty simple, especially if you have an app that you can just do. And as I said, I recommend it to do it, for example, in the morning, instead of scrolling on Facebook or checking your WhatsApp messages. Just take like 5 minutes to just log your daily food, and that will just help you keep consistent with it. And yeah, that's basically it. You should always measure your food. So a lot of times you will see, for example, if I say mayonnaise, then it will give me a tablespoon of mayonnaise. But a tablespoon can be very different, how heaped it is or what kind of spoon you're using. So I always recommend using grams, and just basically weigh it out every time you use, especially something calorie dense like mayonnaise, or for example oil or butter or anything like that, peanut butter. But yeah, that's basically calorie counting 101. I hope that you learned a lot from this video, and that it was helpful for you, because I hear a lot that people don't like tracking their food because it's a nuisance, it's annoying, it's time consuming. But to be honest, I found that calorie counting has been the only way that I could get my results. And I know that sometimes I get tired of it and I lean off of it and I just eat more intuitively. And what happens is that most of the time I gain some body fat. I never let myself get overweight or obese, but I do get a little bit out of shape, at least for my preference. And I always find that calorie counting helps me get back on track, lose a bit of body fat, get a little bit more definition. So for me, that has been the only way that worked, and I really notice a difference when I'm tracking my calories or when I'm just eating intuitively in terms of my food selections and how healthy I'm eating, how much processed foods I'm eating in general. So yeah, that was the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more videos like this, then click the subscribe button, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.